Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Good to see you, or it might be afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. But welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to do a new topic on formula equations and substitution. But we're going to start with a joke. You guys are going to love this one. What did the cake say to the knife? Want a piece of me? All right, that's enough of that. I hope you guys had a little giggle. How good are my jokes, hey? All right, so today what we're looking at is we're looking at this new topic, and as much as I can, I want to just briefly give some key terms that you're going to need to know. We're doing everything formula and equations, and why is this helpful? Eventually, this will help us to solve more difficult equations, help us to find out solutions to difficult problems, and it takes a lot of the thinking out. So it's going to be a nice process, but at first it may be a little bit intense. Now, here are the key terms. Okay, I want you to write these down as well. If you're in my class, if you're online, pay attention. I don't know. Okay, first thing, pronumeral. Simply put, it is a letter to represent a variable. Okay, so it's a letter. And I'll write some of these down, So if a pronumeral examples of some pronumerals, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, etc., etc. Okay, any letter used to represent a variable. Now, what is a variable, you ask? Well, let me tell you. A variable is a value that can differ or vary in an equation. Okay, so if I was to say, let's write a quick equation. Let's go x plus 2y equals to 7. The variables here are the x and the y. They're the different variables, okay? And we don't really care about the numbers in front for now. A variable is just the unknown letters in a equation. Cool. Now, formula. This one is probably the one that you guys are going to be most familiar with. A formula is simply a relationship between two or more variables. So an example of what that could look like is you could have something like, okay, y equals to 3x plus 7 plus, I don't know, f. So that is a relationship between two or more variables. I've got a y, and it's relating to the x and the f and the 7. That there is a relationship. Formulas often have an equal sign as well. So that's it. Now, if you need to, pause it there, write those down. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about substitution. Now, if you're in class, I may watch a short video on this. But if not, substitution, very, very simply put, you ever play sports, what you do is you swap it out. Okay, if one person comes out, one person comes on. It's basic rules of sport. And it's swapping the values of swapping of values and or pronumerals. Sometimes you swap letters out for letters. Sometimes you swap letters out for numbers. Most of the time, you swap out numbers for letters and letters for numbers. That's how it tends to work. And it's often the key to solving equations, right? Which is going to be the end goal of this topic, that you'd be able to solve equations such as blood alcohol. What else? Maybe like medicine and dosage. All these kinds of things you should be able to calculate now by using substitution. Now, here's how a standard one of those questions will go. They'll give you three values. They'll say a equals 2, b equals -1, c equals 4. And what they'll do is they'll give you all these equations, a, b, and c, just different equations here that they'll ask you to find. So in this case, for 3a plus c, now here's what I want you to do with the working out. I want you to be very specific. So every time you see a letter, I kind of want you to put a pair of open brackets. Now, the reason that I do this is because I see a lot of mistakes that happen where you kind of maybe misput something, or you might accidentally plus or minus. But every time there's a letter, I want you to kind of put a gap. And then all I need to do now is, okay, if a is 2, I'm going to replace a with the number 2. So it's going to be 3 bracket 2. And then for C, I'm just going to substitute that in. C is 4. So I'm just going to put 4 in the bracket. Okay, now hopefully at this point, if we've got a number and a bracket right next to each other, and there's nothing in between, it means multiply. Hopefully you guys knew that. It's multiply. So I go 3 times 2, 6 plus 4, and very simply, that's 10. That's my answer. Okay, I stopped there because I've simplified as much as I can. Okay, let's speed through and do B. Hopefully it's making a bit of sense. Again, as they get more and more complex, we just deal with it in the same way. Okay, there's an A, so I'm going to put open brackets, C, open brackets, take away B, open brackets. And now all I'm going to do is substitute it in. So A is 2, C is 4, and then B is -1. Now see how this is where our brackets become really important. Now, if I didn't put it in that bracket, there's a chance I would have made a negative error, or, you know, 2 negatives make a positive. But let's look at this, right? So we still got the square root. 2 times 4, that becomes 8. And then I've got minus, and then I've got -1. Now, if you guys remember, if you see 2 minuses together, it's the same thing as plus. That becomes the square root of 9. And I think 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 9, or even if you put this in your calculator, your answer will be 3. Cool. Hopefully you're tracking. Last example here, we've got a squared. So now we're starting to deal with some squares. Okay, now again, I'm just going to do that whole, okay, whenever there's a pronumeral, I'm going to put a open bracket there. So there's the squares are there as well. Now A is 2, B is -1, and C is 4. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now we've got 2 squared, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. We've got plus -1. Now, if I see these 2 together, a plus and minus together, I know it's the same thing as just -1. Okay. And then I've got minus, and I've got 4 squared here. So that would be 16. And so I've got 4 minus 1 minus 16. And that's going to be 4 minus 1 is 3. Minus 16 is -13. You can use a calculator here if you need. And that there will be how you solve it. Okay, those are your answers for these. That should help you for the exercise. Now, there's one more thing that they may ask you to do. They may ask you to solve an equation using substitution. Now, I've created a nice little formula here, and let's go F equals 5m plus EU. Let's see if I remember. F is going to be fun. So the formula for fun is 5 lots of however much math you do, plus effort and understanding. Oh, effort times understanding. So I don't know, that was lame, whatever. You know what? Stuff it. So we've got F equals 5m plus EU, and they ask you to find what F is, find the value of F when m equals 3, E equals 2, and U equals to 4. So again, all we're doing here is we're trying to find F, and all we need to do is substitute in these ones. M equals 3, E equals 2, U equals 4. Right, so it's going to be 5 times M plus E times U. Okay, so 5m and m is 3, so I'm writing 3 in here. E is 2, so I'm writing that in there. And then U is going to be 4. Yep. And so I'm going to put the 4 in there. And so all I need to do now is calculate 5 with the 3 bracket next to it. That means 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. And then bracket 2, bracket 4 right next to each other means you multiply again. It just means 15 plus 8. And that gives you an answer of 23. So therefore, if your math level is 3, your effort level is 2, and your understanding is 4, you're going to have a 23 level of fun in math. Oh, that was really lame. But you get the idea, hopefully. If there's any questions, please leave them in the comments below or ask me in class. Hope this helps. All right, thanks, guys. That's it. And I'll see you later. Bye.